Howdy, hi. It is Dear Job Sports NFL Week 6 picks and predictions. We're looking at the top 5 best bets of the week. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, we're going to recap the previous week's picks. We go with 3 and 5, so we're going to recap these games and then get on to the picks for Week 6. So we'll hit the winners first. We win 3 games. First one, Washington Commanders, Cleveland Browns. We had the over 43.5. Commanders put their hurt on the Browns, scoring 34 points. Final score here, 34-13. This game could have been a heck of a lot more than 34. The Commanders honestly stopped trying midway through the third quarter when they went up, I think, 34-6, I think, at one point. And they took out all their starters. I watched the entire game. As a Browns fan, this one hurt me in the core. Second game, we had the Cowboys plus 2.5. This was a great Sunday night football game after the long delay due to the rain. Cowboys win the game on a fourth and goal play. Last play of the game, dominated the Steelers. They really should have won clearly by far, but Dak Prescott just had too many turnovers. They dominated them 445 yards to 226 total yards. Like I said, if Dak doesn't have the 2 picks and the fumble, then they win this game by 15. But Dak Prescott, not very good. Then finally, we had the Chiefs minus 5.5. This one also at domination by the Chiefs. They had 20 more minutes of time of possession than the Saints did. They outgained the Saints by 240 total yards. The Saints hype is officially over. After the 2-0 start, they are now 0-3 since. So they can get thrown into the bin of teams that probably aren't going to make the playoffs. Then we had 5 losers, 2 of which that were really close. The other ones, not so much. The first game was in the not so much category. We took the Browns plus 3.5. I don't understand why this team is so bad. I really don't. Deshaun Watson, he's not playing good, but he's also not playing horrible. The main problem is that our offensive line is dog shit. Nobody can block, whether that's pass protection or in the run game. We can't do either. Kevin Stefanski doesn't know what he's doing as a head coach, and our defense sucks. So, in every single aspect of football besides punting and field goal kicking, we are horrible. Next one, Jets and whoever they played in London. I forget who they played in London, but they lost 23-17. We had the over 40.5. This one pained me. They should have won. But something good did come out of this as the Jets fire their coach. Curious as to see who they're going to get to replace Saleh. I think this should have happened before the season even started. The Jets' offense has been atrocious ever since Saleh came in as a coach, so I'm glad they got him out. Next game, we had the Raiders plus 2.5. They got cooked, absolutely destroyed by the Broncos in the second half of this game. Final score 18-34. We had the over 42.5 in the Steelers game. If I would have known the weather was going to be this bad, I probably would not have bet the over 42.5. But seeing as though I make these picks a week before the games actually happen, basically, I did not know the weather. So probably wasn't the best bet, seeing as though there was a 2-hour delay before this game even started due to rain. So sucks a little bit. Close at the end. What they finished with like 39, 38 points. So it almost hit, but not able to get there. Then we had the worst beat of the week. Bucks plus 2.5. The Thursday night rig job, the Vegas call in. What are we doing, Tampa Bay? You should have won this game. It's a bad day to be a Bucks fan. They lose in overtime. Overtime rules are still stupid as hell. A coin flip determines if you get the ball first and you score a touchdown, you win. Dumbest shit in the history of existence. Okay, let's get into this week's picks. First game we're taking a look at, it is the San Francisco 49ers heading to Seattle, take on the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 3.5 and the over 47.5. This game is the Thursday night game. Both of these teams, they're sliding a little bit. They need to get it back together. Niners, they've lost 3 out of their last 4 games, including a home loss to the Cardinals, and the Seahawks of losers are 2 in a row. Both these teams' defenses have struggled to stop opponents. The Seahawks defense has allowed 29 and 42 points in their last 2 games. The 49ers have allowed a minimum of 23 points in 3 out of their last 4 games. Both of these teams' quarterbacks have been struggling as well. Brock, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Geno Smith, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I'm not very good at math, but that combination is not very good. In terms of how these teams actually stack up in the totality of their offense, they're actually kind of pretty good. They're second and seventh in offenses in the league. The Niners doing it through the air and on the ground. Granted, without Christian McCaffrey, they got their backup in. Seahawks struggle running the ball massively, but they have been able to air it out, going for the third most amount of passing yards a game in the NFL. With how well the Niners run the ball, they should be able to move it down the field pretty easily against the Seahawks defense, who was ranked 20th in run defense in the NFL. So that's why I'm going to take the over here. I think the Niners should be able to score a decent amount, and the Seahawks, a team offensively that should be able to throw the ball down their throat. If we're looking at head to head, I think I like Geno Smith more than Brock Purdy. I still remember Brock Purdy playing at Iowa State, and that dude was buns. So, not saying he's best been given a good football team, but if you were to put Purdy on almost any other NFL team, I don't think he does as good as he's been doing with the Niners. So, I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 3.5 at home. I don't think they lose back to back home games, especially on Thursday night. Pete Carroll has kind of got these boys cooking when it comes to Thursday night games. So, give me the over and give me the Seahawks in this one. Next game we're looking at, it's the Browns and the Eagles. Some of you are going to think I'm on crack for this pick, but I'm taking the Browns plus 8.5. Browns head into the city of brotherly love. I think this is where they realize, hey, we're actually kind of good at football. Like if you look up and down our roster, we're not totally horrible. However, if they do lose this game, Kevin Stefanski deserves to be fired and Deshaun Watson deserves to be benched. We got to change something because Nick Chubb comes back pretty soon. And we cannot be 1-5 or 1-6 with the return of Nick Chubb. The season's already over at that point. Nick Chubb might as well sit on the bench if we're not going to be at least 3-5, maybe halfway through the season. Anyway, Browns coming off of getting demolished by the Commanders. Eagles coming off of a much-needed bye week because they are banged up big time. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown still listed as questionable. So if they do not play, I really like this 8.5. But the fact that it's sitting at 8.5 kind of leads me to believe that they're both going to play, or at least one of them's going to suit up. However, if neither of them suit up, Browns plus 8.5 looking free. Eagles in their previous game without these two wide receivers, Jalen Hurts only threw for 158 yards. I think they lost to Tampa Bay by almost 20 points. So if we're getting 8.5 without their two wide receivers, I will gladly take that. Eagles' run defense, not good. They are ranked 21st in the NFL, giving up 130 yards a game, and they are 24th in passing yards given up. Browns should be able to actually score here. We have not been able to run the ball. We've been able to throw the ball down the field, but not actually get it in the end zone. So I think the change here against the Eagles. Now, the Browns are also horrible at stopping the run, being ranked 25th in the league, giving up 142 rushing yards a game. So if this just turns into a run fest, I think it very much can. And then that probably leads towards the over not hitting. So I'd leave the under in this game and the 8.5 being a pretty good bet. If it just turns into a you run the ball, I run the ball type of thing, probably going to lead to a close, low scoring game. So I will take the Browns plus 8.5. Next game we're looking at, it is the Cardinals heading into Green Bay, take on the Packers. Cardinals coming off of a big win against the Niners. I think they carry that energy into Green Bay and show the Packers, hey, Jordan Love, not the answer. The real answer lies in Malik Willis. That man's the truth. Packers also coming off a win against the Rams. Final score of that game was 24-19. Even though the Rams outgained them in total yards, Packers defense was able to come up clutch with a pick six, which ultimately turned out to be the winning decision in that game. In terms of quarterback head-to-head comparisons, Kyler has 7 TDs and 2 interceptions compared to Jordan Love, who's got 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I do give the edge to the Cardinals here. Kyler Murray finally got his legs underneath him. They kind of let him run wild in the previous game. I think he went for 7 carries for 83 yards. Packers, they do have the edge in the offense, but their defense is looking suspect. And neither of these teams are very good at it. They're ranked 25th and 23rd, giving up 373 and 370 yards a game. Should be a decent amount of points in this game, but I'm not touching it because the over set at 49.5. I think the Cardinals' best way of winning this game is by running James Conner and Kyler Murray, and that's going to eat up a decent amount of clock. So I'm not sure if the over is going to be able to get there. Also, wouldn't mind taking Kyler Murray rushing yards over, but given as though it's a Tuesday, the lines for that not currently out yet. So I'm just going to take the Cardinals +5 in this game. I think they stand a decent shot to win, and I don't really trust Jordan Love yet. I'm going to have to see one more full season of him being healthy and playing good football to really trust Jordan Love and this Packers team. So give me the Cardinals +5. Next game we're looking at, it is the Lions headed to Dallas, take on the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys +3.5. As much as I do not like Dak Prescott, I think the Cowboys continue to win here and cover this 3.5. Coming off of that big win in Pittsburgh, Lions coming off of a bye. So maybe they start this game out slow. They haven't played football in 2 weeks. Takes them a little bit back to getting that football mindset. Most of the Lions games have been quite close this season. 3 out of their last 4 games have been decided by 7 points or fewer. The Cowboys' last 3 games have been decided by 5 points or fewer. So this game should be come down to the end. In that case, I think I'm going to give the edge to the home team and the team that just won on the last play of the game. In terms of offensive rankings, Cowboys are the best passing team in the league in terms of yards per game, and the second worst running team, averaging just 82 yards a game on the ground. The Lions have the third best offense in the league, averaging 411 yards a game. Now, the problem for the Lions here lies in the fact that their pass defense is one of the worst in the entirety of the NFL, giving up 260 yards a game through the air. So the Cowboys should be able to slice and dice them, forcing the Lions to throw the ball themselves. Hopefully, Jared Goff throws a few interceptions. He has been doing that more often than not in this year. Thrown, I think, 4 interceptions. Not the best number for Jared Goff there. So I'm assuming this is a home dub for the Cowboys. This is their first, well, questionably going to be their first home win. They are 0-2 at home so far, 3-0 on the road. I do not think the Cowboys are going to lose all 3 opening home games. However, they do have a few injuries need to be aware of. Micah Parsons on the defense, not expected to play this weekend. So it might be a bit of a factor. Obviously, Micah, one of the best rushing edge guys in the league. But either way, I'm going to take the Cowboys +3.5. I think they win the game outright. But I will take the 3.5 just in case a little last-second field goal magic is in the air. Last game we got here, it is Cincinnati heading to New York. It is the Sunday night game. I'm going to take the Bengals -3.5. In Joe Burrow, we trust. The fact that the Bengals are still favored by over a field goal despite playing so poorly on defense this year should tell you which side you should be backing. Their offense, though, has been doing it quite well in recent games, scoring 38, 34, 33, and 25. Unfortunately, their defense has been beyond dog shit at football, giving up 41, 24, 38, and 26 points in that same time frame. Giants coming off of a very surprising win in Seattle, where they returned a blocked field goal kick for a touchdown to get the game out of reach for the Giants in the fourth quarter. Although on the field goal try, it was a clear and obvious penalty as they just held the snapper's head down, jumped over to the side of him, and then blocked the kick. That is illegal. It should have been called a penalty, yet it was not because NFL refs are horrible. Now, even though the Bengals defense is so bad, I have more faith in Joe Burrow and his wide receiving core than I do Daniel Jones and who he has to throw the ball to. Giants have scored 20 or more points just twice this entire season, though they're still going to struggle to score the ball against this lackluster Bengals defense. They just don't score the ball very much because they have Danny Dimes at quarterback and they let Saquon go to the Eagles. So can't really run the ball and you can't throw the ball very well because Danny Dimes is your quarterback. They also have not won a home game this entire year, much like the Cowboys, winless at home and they only win on the road. Although not like the Cowboys, I don't think that ends here. I think it's going to be very funny when they're down 14 to 21 points at halftime. We see Daniel Jones getting booed off of the field, and then hopefully they bring out the real superhero of New York in Tommy DeVito. He comes out halftime, starts the second half, saves New York, cuts this game to 7 points, but then that's all they cut it to. The Bengals win by 7, Give me a 35-28 ball game here. Bengals win outright. All right, that is going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.